How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a very, very special episode of Nightcap. I'm joined by Big Paul of the extended Zoobox family. How's it going, Big Paul?
It's going well, Sean. How are you?
So we have, I think this is a video of bitesizevegan.org. All right, so we're gonna start off with like this little explainer about the blurred lines of bestiality. The fact that this channel is called Zoobox, please. That's just a funny coinkydink. Sex with animals, they call it. That's what they call it in the biz. So we're gonna start with that, and you know the deal, Paul. If you need me to stop, you just say pause. I stop a lot, as you know already. I love to hear myself talk.
Bestiality is a topic so taboo, the word alone is enough to elicit reactions ranging from discomfort and disgust to moral outrage and ethical condemnation. Despite its relevancy within a wide range of fields, bestiality is largely absent from public discourse. But what if these much reviled acts aren't some rare perversion of human sexuality relegated to the darkest corners of the internet, but actually common, everyday practices, supported and enjoyed by the vast majority of society?
See, this is what all perverts seek to do. All perverts seek to normalize and rationalize their fetishes. Every single one of them, without fail, always.
You say tomato, I say tomato. You say dark, perverted, deep secrets of the internet, and I say someone's passion, someone's love connection.
No, because they're just like, what's up? It's just like, oh, no. Everybody does. Everybody wants to fuck animals secretly. You didn't know that? Oh, even you like pets, right? You like to see your pet happy, don't you? It's probably because you want to have sex with it.
Yeah. Well, let's see if the lines get less blurred.
It's just like, you ever play fetch with your dog? Trying to have sex with it. You're basically trying to turn it on.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Emily from Bite Size Vegan, and welcome to another Vegan Nugget. The definition of the term bestiality or bestiality for any non-Americans wishing to pronounce it as it's actually spelled has evolved over time.
And she's got to be pretentious about it. No, it's actually bestiality.
Wow.
I'm good with bestiality. It seems like it makes more sense.
It really does, and now I just feel inclined to Google that. But you know what? I'm going to take the vegan's word for it.
Again, do you see they're trying to hide the ball? They're always trying to hide the ball.
What do you think about the initial shock and awe? Everything you know is right. This is how it's pronounced. So right off the bat, what you think you know about, you don't even know how to say it. So that's the first step. Opening the door to enlightenment.
You're already a dumb asshole. You're already a jerk off. You think you're smart. You think you're standing up against something. You think you got principles, dude? Yeah. I don't think so.
No, you don't. You want to know how to. You don't even know how to spell it.
You want to get into bestiality. That's what you want.
From its origins, signifying depraved conduct befitting an animal, to the modern denotation of sexual relations between humans and animals. I wanted to note that for the sake of clarity and expediency, I will mostly be using the term animal in place of the more accurate non-human animal, a decidedly awkward afterthought attempting to rectify a false division addressed in this very video. And rest assured...
What?
When she says false division, what is she talking about here?
Hold on, I gotta go back.
Let's break this down.
I fucking got it distracted. And then when my brain clicked back on, I was like, what?
You're staring at the chest tattoo.
In place of the more accurate non-human animal, a decidedly awkward afterthought attempting to rectify a false division addressed in this very video. And rest assured, I won't be showing any images or depictions of bestiality today.
Well...
which just lost me a few viewers.
No, because you're going to be talking about bestiality, bitch.
Yeah.
Get it right. How much do you think that tattoo hurt?
I don't know.
How many hours do you think?
I don't know. It's just commitment, but I don't think they look at things of pain. It's probably some enlightenment. I don't know. She's probably got a whole video on it.
Maybe she does. It's part of the vegan lifestyle. Do you have to, like, if you want to be a vegan and stuff, do you have to be like this? Is that part of the code?
There's like a memo that gets sent out. I don't know if initiation, because initiation could imply, less than inclusive.
Yeah,
right?
Well, that's true.
It definitely seems like, you got to go to the same, like, earth science, store, some thrift shop. I don't know.
Why are they all the same, Paul? Why are they all the same?
Because they all come from the same place.
Vermont.
Well, you know what? I don't know. I bet your prophet knows. Exactly. I bet your prophet knows.
Oh, he probably knows a bunch of these people. He's probably has to go out with his shotgun and protect his farm and his animals and his goats from roving bestiality people.
Those bestiality people.
Those besties. Those besties coming up to the farm in the night. Hey, what are you doing over there? Nothing. Nothing. Trying to pull up their pants, running out of the barn. Sick fucks, dude.
It's not what it looks like.
You can find detailed citations to everything I state, as well as a bibliography and loads of additional resources and things I didn't have time to fit in this video on the blog post linked in the description below. With that out of the way, it's time to take on this timeless taboo. Bestiality may seem like...
So it just seems like, just so like right off the tempo, like you're starting off, you don't even say it right. This is how you spell it, going on pronunciation. And then it's always like another like shock and awe factor with like, you know, I have so much resources to back up what I'm about to say that I can't possibly fit it here. I don't have the time to break it down. So I'm going to put this link here and just kind of plant in you, like, you know, I know my shit and look at all this tons of stuff that, let's be honest, no one's going to go click on afterwards. Like, oh, I want
exactly. You know? It's like, you know, isn't that like an academic trick? It's just like, you know, just, oh yeah, there's like 1,000 citations at the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Like a pretty black and white matter. Sex with animals is wrong. End of story. But such a quick dismissal, hastened no doubt by the discomfort of the subject, neglects to account for the cultural permeation of bestiality throughout history and our everyday lives. Ancient mythology is rife with gods taking the form of animals in order to copulate with humans.
They do the same thing with like pederasses, like in the Greeks. The Greeks touch boys all the time.
They do, Paul. They do. They do. That's what
you did a nightcap on that one too.
You know, I've talked about and watched so much shit about just like degenerate behavior, and it's all of the talking points are like exactly the same. They all mirror each other. They're all like trying to hide it. They're all trying to normalize it. They're like, well, it's actually, you know, it's not really that fucked up when you really start to think about it. You know, people are just people, and who are we to, you know, undermine how a person might feel innately, their natural inclinations. Sick.
Just because it's taboo for you doesn't mean it's not a spiritual enlightenment for someone else.
Yeah, look at this Pasiphae here. Huh? Look at Lita and the Swan. You know?
And I bet you there's more in the descriptions.
I bet you there's more in the citations.
There's so many.
Among many other bestial
shit. There we go.
Themes we readily teach children in middle school. But were a teacher to hand out a story involving sex between humans and animals written in the modern day, a cultured appreciation of the classics would quickly become a potentially criminal distribution of pornography. And while many states in America have...
What? She's trying to draw a parallel. She's like, okay, you read all the ancient mythology and stuff. A lot of it's like metaphor. It's not meant to be taken literally. Usually it stands in for something else a lot of the time. And she's like, well, you know, if somebody wrote a story about fucking their horse in the modern day, you guys would be disgusted, but you're over here reading this classic literature like a bunch of perverts. Look what you're doing to your children. So why can't Frank fuck his horse? Why can't he do it?
Why? These are the questions we want to know. Come on, vegan lady.
Strictly enforced laws against as much as photographing a child posed with an animal in even a remotely suggestive manner. Kids in America's farmland can participate in wholesome after-school programs with lessons in boar semen management and how to sexually stimulate a pig.
That's not bestiality, lady. Okay, no. That's called farming.
Well, she's probably going to go.
I mean, we'll see. I guess if she, I don't know, cleans that up a little bit. No pun intended. But like, fucking, I mean, come on. What are we even talking about here? They tried to draw a parallel between fucking animals and artificial insemination that farmers do. Like, oh, people do that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Prophet of the chat. He says, yeah, bud. Is that Chinaman Paul?
No.
He's been outed. It is Chinaman Paul. There you go. See? Look at him. Look at him.
Oh, my God.
Look at him.
Prophet, I love you.
I caught you in 720p.
Attempt to evaluate these examples objectively, which the subject matter admittedly makes challenging, if not impossible. The division between the educational and the immoral or criminal becomes largely a matter of cultural context, which begs the question, what exactly is so bad about bestiality? Criminologist
I thought it was
Piers
bestiality.
And she can't even get it. She's too turned on. She's too horny.
Inconsistent.
She's got a case of the hornies, dude. She's talking about this stuff, getting all confused in her head, all hot
words.
Ooh, shit. Welcome to Nightcap, everybody.
And points to the Mosaic commandments as the earliest and most influential justification for censures of bestiality, with the prescribed penalty of death. Remnants of this moral origin are...
This moral origin cannot stand, okay? They say in the Bible, you're not allowed to fuck animals. Penalty of death. So, just saying, and we're progressive society. We can't be signing on to things that are in the Bible.
No way.
Not in current year. I won't have it. I won't stand for it, and neither will Vegan Lady.
Set us straight.
Evidenced in the language of some of today's secular legislation, with several states in America, for example, retaining terminology such as crime against nature, unnatural, perverted, abominable, detestable, and my favorite, buggery.
Well,
all of
I like that word. That's my favorite too. That word bubble too. But all those words, Sean, I'm saying pretty accurate, but my lines could still be blurred. I don't know.
Yeah, these are all perfectly fine descriptors for what the for bestiality. Prof says bestiality. Is she talking about dog fart?
No.
Oh shit, dogs. Do you mean Dog Fart Studios? I remember scrolling through, watching porn and just being like, dog fart, really? When you just haven't degraded yourself enough. Oh, who do you work for? Dog fart. Yeah, I did a funnel cum scene. Dog fart.
Or do you think they get like all industry lingo with it? Like, DF Productions.
Yeah.
Or I'm in the industry.
Astoundingly enough, bestiality remained punishable by death throughout the early modern period, with Sweden executing up to 700 people between 1635 and 1778, along with the animals involved, and the last known hanging for bestiality
we got to make sure this evil is purged.
Like the bastion of death metal, Sweden, like that. That checks out. That story checks out.
Prophet says funnel cum scene. I almost just spit out my 151. Well, I'm glad you didn't, because that would have been a waste.
You'd have to slurp it up.
Yeah,
like
the
lady.
Sorry, like
cross the streams.
just like the lady with the funnel and the cum. She had to slurp it up too. I mean, she wanted to get paid.
Yeah.
United States, carried out by order of the Connecticut Superior Court in January of 1800. Given its pre-biblical censure, it may be surprising to hear that many countries still lack any laws addressing sexual contact between humans and animals. In 2015, Denmark was the last Northern European country to ban bestiality, leaving Finland, Romania, and Hungary as the only holdouts in the European Union. In the United States, bestiality remains legal in at least 8 states and Washington, D.C., with about...
What? Vermont!
Vermont. Washington, D.C. I mean, with those degenerate politicians, they got to go,
Yeah.
When they're kidnapping kids and doing...
it's to facilitate all the, foreign dignitaries that come over, I mean, you can get Tony Blair coming over here to D.C. How can it be illegal? And it's not accommodating to the rich and powerful.
You don't want to be impolite, right?
No, you wouldn't. Vegas checks out Colorado. Like, what's going on there?
Texas too, really?
You think they'd be a little a little more square.
You would think so,
But I mean, we don't want to. Everyone shuts on Kentucky and West Virginia,
So let's just leave them alone.
Let's just leave them alone. But Vermont, not surprising.
Those people got secrets.
Those Ben and Jerry guys are up there in Vermont, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're churning something, all right, buddy. Let me tell you something.
What are Ben and Jerry's practice in making sure that you get quality dairy?
Yeah, it's quality.
Maybe we
dairy.
Investigate. I don't know. Maybe she's going to tell us. Got
to get that cream. You know what I'm saying?
17 of the remaining 42 having only enacted legislation since 1999. Though technically Ohio's brand new legislation signed just last month still won't take effect until March of this year, and only included a ban on bestiality as a way to pass an unpopular bill. Yay, moral integrity. Of the states with law.
What? Okay, lady. Prophet says, you telling me I can't fuck this goat? What? No, you can.
Was America.
You can fuck this goat.
In Vermont.
You can fuck any goat you want, dude. All your goats. Basically, that's a harem. That's a harem in your barn, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Laws already enacted, penalties and sentencing range from a misdemeanor with no set minimum in Nebraska to a felony with imprisonment of no less than 7 years and up to 20 years in Rhode Island. The modern resurgence of legislation has revealed a shift in the conceptualization and legal classification of bestiality, from a crime against public morals to an act of animal cruelty, with California and Oregon even going so far as to call it sexual assault of an animal. Attorney Rebecca F. Wish of the Animal Legal and Historical Center proposes that this terminology may reflect these states' assessment that animals are incapable of consenting, essentially granting non-human animals victim status. With the extreme...
Well, I think that's fair. I don't think animals can actually... They can be groomed, they can be kind of trained to do things, but they don't have that kind of capacity, you know?
No.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Oh, yeah, that's fair, but I'll refrain.
Prophet says all these goats are already bred. Cucked again. Shit, dude. Well, at least you got to watch. You know what I mean?
Variation from state to state, much less country to country, of not only the criminal classification of and penalty for bestiality, but also the very definition of what the act entails. We're once again left with the question of what precisely makes bestiality so objectionable. All bestiality...
I think she's already laid out a pretty good case.
I think, yeah.
5 minutes into this 20 minutes video, she's pretty much told us why it's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's so bad about it, guys? Chill out.
Is she going to go back to the Greeks? Maybe she's going to go back to the Greeks. I don't know.
Yeah, she's like, look at these old stories. Your kids read these stories. You all love animal fucking.
What nuanced perspective is she going to drop on us right now to help unblur these lines? I'm curious. The bold title like that. I mean, let's see what happens.
Legislation includes exceptions for accepted animal industry practices. So by eliminating any permissible actions, we can hopefully hone in on the root wrong of bestiality. Why don't we start with the rather inadequate parameters of what was traditionally considered the legal benchmark for sexual violation? Penetration. This may appear to offer a clear-cut line in the sand.
I just want to get a screen cap. Penetration.
Right. So you're telling me that suburban mom with that jar of peanut butter, you know what I'm saying? She gets off the hook, huh?
She
gets off the hook.
Oh,
I go to my timeshare in Vermont and fuck a goat, and all of a sudden now I'm going to jail. And peanut butter lady gets off.
She gets off scot-free. I'm telling you, it's misandrist. It's misandrist.
Until we consider the long list of farming practices, not to mention animal experimentation and fur harvesting methods involving penetration. So if penetration itself isn't the issue, what about harmful penetration? That can't be the issue either, as animal experimentation and fur harvesting and common farming practices involving penetration can and do cause harm. Animals in the fur industry are routinely killed via genital and anal electrocution, and we don't even have time to list.
All right, so we're going to say there's no question that there's a lot of abuse like in the industry. Okay, like we're going to get that, but is she going to really like equate those same so having a sexual relationship, with an animal is nowhere near as cruel as like what's already happened or what's common practice? Like, where's she going with this?
Where's she going with this? She's trying to say like, well, it's not as bad as this. That seems like what she's saying.
No, it's just like, you really shouldn't like slap around your kid like that. Well, some other countries, they fucking kill them.
Yeah. You really shouldn't beat your wife. In Saudi Arabia, they cut their heads off though. Mm-hmm. So she's getting off easy.
No, after genital mutilation at age 12, and then they,
yeah, count your blessings, really. Who are you to complain? Prophet says, Jesus Christ, CMP needs to be in NIGHTCAP more often.
Oh, thank you,
got
buddy.
A new fan.
Thank you, buddy.
All of the bizarre manners in which animal experimentation in various fields of research involves an infinite array of harmful and painful penetration. Even in the food industry, for example, the vast majority of farmed animals today are bred via artificial insemination. Cows in the dairy industry are repeatedly impregnated through AI in order to maintain the flow of milk for human consumption. Like us, they only produce milk for their babies, who are taken from their mothers immediately after birth. Females are kept as future milk producers, and males are either sent to a veal farm or shot. Aside from the psychological and emotional impact of having their babies taken time and again, the insemination process itself can be physically damaging, especially when considering that most inseminations are...
So I feel like the gist of this video is going to be the hypocrisy, because we have factory farming, animals are mistreated. So it's like there's a form of hypocrisy going on. You know,
no,
these animals are, as we're going to have a guy in the next documentary explain to us, these are spiritual beings, spiritual creatures, and they have every right to enjoy themselves, to eat food they want to eat, to enjoy their bodies.
Yeah. Now, I appreciate her command so far and her delivery, you know, like of these thoughts. She doesn't seem like she's going to be like so kooky to make a false equivalency, you know, like to this, but still, like, where are you going? Like what you just said, like, this is hypocrisy. How could you care about animals when you allow this in the industry? And true, there could be a lot of great conversations to be had about, you know, like, you know, responsibly getting your dairy and your poultry and everything like that. Yeah, too. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about harmful penetration of animals that cannot consent.
Well, you see, Paul, like, and this is something that's been going on for the past 5 or 6 years, especially on the internet. Like, two things cannot be true at the same time. People don't understand that, like, yeah, two things could be bad at the same time, you know? Like, all of these things could be bad. Like, there's not really a hypocrisy in saying one is bad and the other is also bad. Maybe she's going to get into the gradations, the variance.
Yeah. Well, she still got my attention. So.
Performed by non-veterinarians. Since AI training involves practicing on live cows, some courses are held at slaughterhouses, though one UK vet advised that novice inseminators should not practice on cows unless they are to be slaughtered on the training day. Perhaps the objectionable element separating routine farming practices from bestiality is the deliberate use of force during penetration. For this, I turn to author Jim Mason's account of his time working in a turkey breeding facility as he describes standard industry practice. They put me to work first in the pit, grabbing and breaking hens. Breaking hens was hard, fast, dirty work. I had to reach into the chute, grab a hen by the legs, and hold her, ankles crossed, in one hand. Then, as I held her on the edge of the pit, I wiped my other hand over her rear, which pushed up her tail feathers and exposed her vent opening. The birds weighed 20 to 30 pounds, were terrified, and beat their wings and struggled in panic. With the hen thus broken, the inseminator stuck his thumb right under her vent and pushed, which opened the vent. Into this he inserted the semen tube. Then both men let go and the hen flopped away onto the house floor. 2 breakers did 10 hens a minute, or each breaker broke 5 hens a minute. 1 hen every 12 seconds. In the pig meat industry...
It's pretty efficient. You know, considering what they're doing, that's pretty
efficient.
It
hurt those hens even more, those turkeys even more, trying to do that without hanging them upside down. I mean, it's the same way you slaughter them, hang them upside down.
Yeah.
But, most community way to do it. But how is he supposed to do it?
I think they're saying that you shouldn't do this because it's unnatural.
Oh.
It's unnatural, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, you know, that's a conversation. That's a conversation.
Prophet says, look, I see a lot of hog assholes. I've never wanted to fuck one. Prove it, buddy.
Your lines are still blurred, my man. Your lines are still blurred. You're in a state. You're actually in a state where, you know, you could, if your lines become unblurred, this could be a game changer. Game changer, buddy. Let's see.
Prophet says, with the hen thus broken, free hardcore song title, boys. Honestly, that could be that's what Jack Murphy does. His girlfriend goes by the red hen. With the hen thus broken, I peed in her mouth.
Yeah.
Total domination.
I got to do something with that.
Total domination.
Piglets are the product. So mother pigs, much like dairy cows, are subjected to a constant cycle of pregnancies. Even in the European Union, where tethering stalls in which pigs were chained in place were outlawed, artificial insemination is one of a number of built-in exceptions wherein pigs may be legally chained in place. So if forceful penetration of an animal's vagina, anus, or cloaca resulting in physical and or psychological harm and eliciting clear signs of distress is not what's objectionable, maybe it's when the action performed upon an animal is itself overtly sexual, not just the body parts involved. Take the following account.
She's like, you're all just a bunch of Puritans. You're a bunch of prudes.
Yeah.
Each boar had his own little perversion the man had to do to get the boar turned on. He might have had to hold the boar's penis in exactly the right way the boar liked, and he had to masturbate some of them in exactly the right way. There was one boar, he told me, who wanted to have his butthole played with. I have to stick my finger in his butt.
The boar told me. He indicated that he would really like a little anal stimulation.
Some just call that courtesy. So I don't know what she's on.
Yeah,
It sounds like someone's on a high horse here. Yeah. So.
He just really loves that, he told me. He's one of the best in the business. Without context, where would you place
this guy? Treatment. You get the treatment then.
This guy
you're bringing in that money.
These guys know how to make these boys come. Let me tell you what, best in the business.
Best.
They call him the Hogmaster.
Place this on the line between the pornographic and permissible. Would your answer change if I told you that the passage was written by an internationally renowned and well-respected specialist in livestock handling and animal welfare? If so, what changed about the account itself? That excerpt comes from Dr. Temple Grandin's book.
Context is everything, right? So
yes.
That's kind of
yeah, I mean, exactly. Like looking at a little bit of a quote, I guess, I mean, they're just saying like, well, they do this in factory farming, dude. They jerk animals off. They stick their thumbs in their asses, or I'm sorry, their vents. I'm sorry. My bad. My apologies. So, yeah.
Animals in translation, wherein she's described in the About section as a role model for hundreds of thousands of families and people. Grandin continues her tour of porcine breeding practices, describing how, unlike cows, female pigs have to be sexually excited in order to conceive. So workers must manually arouse them prior to insemination. Okay.
How the fuck do you get that job? What did you have to do in a past life?
Well, you just responded to Mike Rowe's email. You signed up for an internship. You got in that dirty job. So then, next thing you know.
Yeah, where's the Mike Rowe?
Next thing you know, job? You're jerking off a boar.
Where's the Mike Rowe's dirty jobs about sexually stimulating female pigs?
It probably got cut, and then they want to go bring it over to Facebook when he had it shown on Facebook, and then they're like, no.
And that's when he got all like conservative. He's like, this is censorship.
Yeah.
He's trying to ruin my show.
Yeah. No, I am uncompromised.
If the highly individualized manual masturbation of male pigs to completion and sexual stimulation of females prior to the insertion of boar semen are acts openly recounted by a respected professor and role model to families, I fear our common sense assessment may be an exercise in futility, especially when we take into account semen collection methods for bulls, namely.
I like how the music comes in and out. When she wants to be like make a real point, like fades out, and then when she gets back into a longer explanation, it comes back in very whimsical.
No, it's a great delivery so far in terms of how she's putting her ideas together. Either it means nothing, but if you are in the space, I guess, because these people make these, they know their audience, right? And so
of course.
I think this is a good a well-produced video.
If you're doing if you're part of veganfood.org, you're obviously probably anti-factory farming and stuff. This is saying, oh, factory farming is evil,
or what you say earlier, pre-biblical norms or something.
Yeah.
If you're anti the Bible, then
I'm just saying
you should be for not just worshiping that cow. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, worshiping that cow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we're friends.
Prophet says, quote unquote, how did you get that job? You either have a felony or a veterinarian degree.
The use of an artificial vagina, electroejaculation, or transrectal massage. The first method often uses a teaser bowl, usually a specimen of low.
I use electroejaculation all the time. I don't know what the big deal is. It's my go-to. Nowadays, now that I'm a hardened pervert, I gotta be stimulated, dude. It's my fucking right.
Well, you have one of those dual threat ones, right? I mean, it gets your stimuli, and then it's also a vape pen. So you're just not gonna.
Yeah, when everybody wants to know what I'm doing, this is actually it's got a Bluetooth hooked to an electro thing in my ass.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Never came so hard.
breeding value, who is restrained, sometimes painfully, via a ring through his nose, and functions as the mount for the donor bull, since the force can injure females. The most troubling technique, electroejaculation, involves inserting a probe into the bull's anus and delivering electric shocks to stimulate ejaculation. It's widely known to be painful and has been banned in some EU
his
countries.
Asshole over there, and
hey,
that's
a living,
how Bubba
buddy.
likes it. That's how Bubba likes it. And Bubba gets what he wants because every county fair, everyone's going for his seed. Everybody. See this cup? I drink it. I know drinking part of my morning routine, but it's about $1,000 an ounce. So, I'm sorry. I just feel like that's what he's saying.
that's how he would rationalize it. Yeah, of course. Prof says being anti-factory farming is like Zubok's being staunchly against pedophilia. Exactly. Very controversial take, but we do not support pedophilia on Zubok.
No, save the kids.
Gotta save them, dude.
Yet you can watch footage of electroejaculation on the Irish Farm Journal's YouTube channel, as well as across the platform. Find hundreds.
Damn Irish.
Can't trust these fucking nicks, dude.
Damn Irish.
They love showing people this. It's a sick culture over there.
Hey, laddie, come over here. See what the Irish doing tonight.
I remember reading Angela's Ashes as a child, and there's a whole section in the book about them having sex with sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the movie adaptation, they just were beaten off over a stone wall, looking at the sheep.
The sheep. Yeah, the book is a little more explicit.
Yeah, I tried rewatching that, but it was too depressing. Just wasn't feeling it.
Feeling it. No, I came here looking for
something to fall asleep to, and I just didn't want to cry. But I'm sorry. Back to the bull action.
The consumption. It took them all.
Of semen procurement and insemination videos, including how to sexually excite a female pig, a topic also covered in depth in the youth.
Well, I know what we're watching on Nightcap next time.
Education resources of the pork checkoff program. In my video, Do Animals Want to Be Eaten?, I provide examples of the sexualized portrayal of animals in advertising, often seducing the would-be consumers of their carcass. Even mainstream television.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be ironic. It's supposed to be funny.
Something, and that's the thing with these groups of people, right? Like humor is kind of like like sarcasm. Yeah, doesn't really translate in some areas, especially in the area you live. This is funny.
It's like ironic. It's funny. Yeah. It's a joke. It's not there to sexually entice you. Maybe she's telling us, this is like she's telling us a little bit more about herself and how she feels about things.
But then again, we knew right from the get-go we were wrong about how to even pronounce or spell bestiality. So
what the fuck do we know, right?
I know.
We got Tarami in the chat. Tarami says, "Evening, Sean, Big Paul, chat. How's it going, Tarami, buddy?"
Television shows feature footage that, were the context even slightly altered, could result in the network losing its license and inviting a wave of lawsuits. As a quick personal aside, I find the fact that YouTube's wide array of borderline bestiality videos remain unrestricted, even monetized, yet the video of one of my speeches remains age-restricted despite its censure violating YouTube's own policies, just the slightest bit frustrating. I have to say, I think our comparative elimination evaluation has hit a dead end. The only element we've yet to assess is the intention and experience of the human committing the act. This is the determining factor in several state bestiality laws like Delaware's, which specifies the contact be for purposes of sexual gratification.
Sorry, buddy.
But if that's really the root of our objection to bestiality, then we've essentially gone full circle to the original moral basis for its censure.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with saying if you're fucking animals for sexual gratification?
Okay, again, right? There's a whole conversation to be had about fair and ethical industry practices.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Yeah.
Right. But again, these are tricks of the industry, if you will, to try to help sustain and make things happen to sustain people. Sexual gratification or trying to that's not feeding your family. That's not feeding yourself. That's not doing anything other than
your soul. What are you talking about?
Welcome to Nightcap.
Yeah, right. Prophet says, I saw a bull at an auction in Kansas go for fucking $85,000. One bull. because genetics is everything. I took this the wrong way and brought up the complete wrong subject. Oh, of course you would.
The modern shift towards animal cruelty classification and establishment of animals as victims. How exactly does the intention of the person involved, or whether the act is part of their job description or carried out in a medical context, help the individual being violated? I would imagine that someone's job title would be of little comfort to the cow restrained and forcefully penetrated for her next round of heartbreak. And the enjoyment or lack thereof derived by the worker operating the anal probe wouldn't do much to dull the painful electric current shocking a bull's pelvic nerves. Such absurdities are the result of our arbitrary shifting of animals from property to family to victim to profit margin, depending on our needs. And as their roles shift, so too do the kinds of harm we may inflict upon them. In her response to philosopher Peter Singer's controversial book review essay, Heavy Petting, Dr. Karen Davis of United Poultry Concerns addresses this progressive...
They don't even hide it. They don't even hide it. They're like, yeah, this is funny, right?
I got to look that up and do a pseudo ASMR take on that.
Yeah,
that's going to be my next side project.
Commodification. Historically, animal agriculture has facilitated bestiality, not simply because of the proximity of farmed animals, but because controlling other creatures' bodies invites this extension of a license that has already been taken. In one of the unfortunately numerous cases of extreme sexual abuse of animals within the food industry that falls so far outside of the prescribed norms they lead to criminal charges, undercover footage and detailed notes from the investigators showed routine abuse at a pig breeding facility in Iowa, where thousands of mother pigs are kept in cramped gestation crates. Workers beat pregnant pigs with blunt metal objects, kicked them in the stomach and head, forced rods into their vaginas and anuses, and attacked lame and injured pigs with an electric prod, among other offenses. The video also
captured... Well, it was Friday.
This is like every frat initiation story I ever heard of. Since we're making comparisons, we're saying, well, this is a whole video about whataboutism.
Prophet says, off topic, but tonight I got Sydney to say inshallah for $4.99 in the super chat. Least expensive orgasm a woman has ever given me. Link forthcoming. Yeah, if you shoot me the link, we'll watch it. Do you know that's the person that started the whole Jack Murphy thing?
No, man.
See, Paul's a normie. He has no idea any of this stuff.
This is a ride along. You should have prefixed that. No.
I should have. Well, you don't know about this Jack Murphy situation that's going on.
I know what you your video that you posted with the terrible Titanic song.
She's the one that asked him in a super chat, what's the deal with this cuck article, and that's what started his whole internet descent into darkness. Tarami says, am I getting her angle right? Since we're cruel to animals in other situations, what does it matter if they don't like us fucking them?
Tarami, that's what I was trying to...
She's not saying that explicitly, but she's basically saying, look at the hypocrisy. And the only reason you can't fuck animals is because it has to do with Puritan, biblical, sexual repression.
Yeah. Or what she patronizingly say, oh, yay, moral superiority or something like that earlier. So, I mean... Yeah. She's not a fan of the traditional norms that the country is accustomed to, which rules are based
she's vegan. On. She's vegan. You cannot trust these people. They make very specious arguments. Very specious.
Very.
Captured workers cutting off the tails and tearing out the testicles of piglets, including some with scrotal hernias whose intestines would fully protrude when snipped, all without any anesthetic. And in one of the most cited offenses by the media, workers were shown slamming sick or deformed piglets against the ground, leaving them, according to investigators, to die slowly, their skulls crushed, paddling their legs and twitching, gasping for air as others were piled on top.
If you wanted to do a video just about the evils of factory farming, which I'm sure there's a bunch on this this channel, you could have just done that. Right. I mean, couching it and using it as a way to talk about bestiality or bestiality being illegal just seems kind of because the bestiality thing is just secondary. It's an afterthought to the video. The point of the video is just to talk about these inhumane practices, right?
So far it's where it's leading, unless she's going to tie it all up at the end.
The last 30 seconds. So why shouldn't you be able to fuck your dog?
Yeah.
Here's my good friend Toby, the golden retriever. We've spent many nights together, keeping each other warm on these cold Vermont nights during the winter. Tarami says this is the equivalent of those organ pictures on the tobacco packaging. Kind of.
Top of them in giant bins. An article on NBC News included comments from none other than Temple Grandin, described as a leading animal welfare expert who said that while those are standard industry practices, the treatment of the sows on the video was far from it, calling it atrocious animal abuse. Just to clarify, in case it wasn't obvious, beating and violating the mother pigs was the atrocious animal abuse. The standard industry practices Grandin refers to are the unanesthetized mutilation of newborn piglets and brutal slamming of defective babies against the concrete. Not only are these practices legal, they are government-sanctioned methods within, but not limited to, the United States, Canada, and the European Union.
Citation needed. I think she's got it though, right? Prophet says, also, as a man who has killed many pigs with fetal piglets inside, yeah, Prophet would know, he's a butcher. This is not how it works. Lying, something or other. Lying, see you next Tuesday.
See, that's the great thing about standard practices. I don't know about you, but if I was shown that video and asked what was abuse and what was routine, I'd have gotten it totally wrong. When it comes to our relationships with
I love the dramatic pauses, though.
A remarkable.
Yeah, the music drops out.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta make her point. Gotta come in with that strong line.
Yep.
Prophet's losing it, dude. He's saying fucking
level of cognitive
You're losing
dissonance,
it, buddy. You're spiraling.
with ample blind spots. One need only observe how we designate individuals as friend or food by such arbitrary factors as geographical location or possession of a human given name. In one country, a dog is viewed as a pet, even a family member. Yet born in a different part of the world, the very same dog would be viewed as dinner. Nothing about the dog herself has changed. Only her geographical location, and more importantly, the perception of her role and value by the humans deciding her fate. Such subjective...
Trami says, if you ask me, I totally agree with myself. Thanks, lady.
shifting of assigned worth is the very basis of anthropocentrism, a belief system that regards humans as separate and superior to nature and holds that human life has intrinsic value, while other entities, including...
Whoa.
It's called being on top of the food chain.
Get with the program. Mega Paul, Big Paul says, I don't believe false prophets. Oh my God. He's like in two places at once.
Animals, plants, and so on are resources that may justifiably be exploited for the benefit of humankind. Our anthropocentric worldview explains many bizarre displays of human doublethink. An example...
What the fuck
else?
What
we
other...
had some 1984 bombs.
But
okay.
what else? What other perspective are you supposed to have as a human being? You're not like, yes, like you said, like it's the food chain. We're higher on the food chain.
Yeah.
We don't prioritize, I mean, maybe unfairly to a certain degree, the welfare of animals. Or we pick and choose which ones that we want to care about and domesticate, and ones that we use for shocking in the ass. So they come hard. Prophet says, best part about me and my cat, and that we both know we eat each other if we had to, and we are cool with that. That's what's gonna happen. Prophet's gonna have a fucking heart attack in the barn. He's gonna fall dead. His cat's gonna eat his ass.
It gets chilly in Vermont.
I covered in my speech The Best We Have to Offer, which concerns legislative issues pertaining to animal cruelty, was when the European Union signed the Treaty of Lisbon, recognizing non-human animals as legally sentient, deserving freedom from hunger, thirst, discomfort, pain, injury, disease, fear, distress, and mental suffering, and then used this very recognition of their capacity to feel the same emotions and sensations as we do to design the exact manner in which humans may legally violate, imprison, cut, burn, alter, and murder them. A preliminary report for the new legislation compared the financial cost of gassing versus grinding alive the estimated 335 million unwanted day-old male chicks born into the EU egg industry every year. Finding live grinding or maceration to be far more cost-effective, it was codified as the method of choice in the resulting groundbreaking animal protection legislation. In her article...
This lady is an anti-natalist, I can tell you that right now. Antinatalist.
Yeah. Yeah. So like all this livestock can outbreed and roam the earth, but don't you have another kid? Don't you have any kids?
Don't you do it. Don't do it. They're going to be farting and killing us.
Mm-hmm.
Pets or meat, Professor of Law Mary Ann Case highlights the complications arising from the condemnation of bestiality on the grounds of incapacity to consent, citing how even the training of one's pet is a form of persuasion, difficult to differentiate with reference to consent. Case concludes that, if we think there should be more strict or rigorous legal controls on having one's pet trained to do what would violate the bestiality laws than on other stupid pet tricks, we should acknowledge straightforwardly that it is our attitude towards sex more than our concern for animal freedom of choice or animal welfare that motivates us.
So Trami asks, did she just extrapolate sentience to be covered by human rights? Yeah, basically, because that's their kind of end goal. I think that's their broad perspective, is that the animals have sentience, therefore they should be afforded the same rights that people are. I mean, that's a pretty standard, vegan animal rights activist argument.
From having the animal's interests at heart, it appears that, as Dr. Davis wrote, the primary mainstream objection to bestiality is that sex between humans and non-humans, regardless of the circumstances in which it occurs, including rape, is an offense to our status and dignity as human beings. That's the power of human perception, that our violation of their bodies is an affront to our dignity. Davis describes how, in regards to bestiality, some animal advocates advanced the argument that non-human animals are not in a position to give informed consent by virtue of their presumed inherent intellectual inferiority to humans.
Presumed?
Even in their supposed defense, we insult them. This is why
they're gonna be real pissed off. Be like, you call me a dummy.
That dumb sheep. Sheeple.
But I've seen Babe. I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Even Babe says that the sheep.
Even in Animal House, right? They got superiority marks. No one gets out of this alive. No one gets out of this not being inferior to somebody else.
Well, yeah, exactly. Just like Animal Farm, if you start giving these animals like control rights, they're just going to become just as evil as people, and then they're going to be factory farming each other.
And who was the worst animal in Animal Farm?
The pig.
It was the goddamn pigs, wasn't it?
The hogs, dude. Tarami says, sure, the cows can have Social Security. They'll just have to sign the dotted line. Make your mark, cow. Make your mark.
In Rethinking Bestiality, one of the few essays focusing on the issue of bestiality from an animal rights standpoint, criminologist Piers Byrne calls for a concept of interspecies sexual assault, independent of moral outrage, empty allusions to victim status, and lack of consent through idiocy.
Well,
Referencing Carol J.
So, right off the bat, we know this guy's legit because he got the spelling correct, right?
That's true.
Right off that, so like towards the concept of interspecies sexual, this isn't satire. Like, this is crazy.
No, they just want to make it secular. Like, they just want to take away the idea of like the Christian moral argument for why you don't why it's immoral to have sex with animals, because a lot of it, right, in the Bible is probably couched in procreation,
right?
Just in the same way why the Bible is against like homosexuality and stuff is because a lot of it's tied to.
Right. But it's just right down there in that second line, shrine in the dogma of Judeo-Christianity. It's just like speaking to her eyes. Again, she's like fanning up what she already wants, this confirmation bias that she's going to find. That's linked to a university and everything and all this plethora of other links I have to back up all this bullshit.
Well, there's lots of crazy people in academia that write crazy things. I mean, it just seems like it's an extra step. It's an unnecessary one so they can feel better about having this opinion. They can't just be like, well, okay, we took different roads, but we got to the same place. I guess not. They got to take God out of everything. Prophet says, who is the worst animal on Animal Farm? Liberians. How dare you? How dare you?
Adams, Byrne lays the foundation for a truly victim-centered approach to the sexual assault of animals. In seeking to replace anthropocentrism with an acknowledgement of the sentience of animals, we must start with the fact that in almost every situation, humans and animals exist in a relation of potential or actual coercion. For genuine consent to sexual relations to be present, both participants...
We get it. Like, you guys fucking don't like human beings.
Yeah.
I understand. They just want to take everything away about like the way we operate in society is based on what is best, I guess broadly for human beings.
So that's reading that citation right. That's from 83.
Oh, they've been around for a while, dude.
1983. So
well, you got to
just read it out loud. For genuine consent to sexual relations to be present, somewhat to modify boxes 83 original formulation, both participants must be conscious, fully informed, and positive in their desires. You don't get that looking at Fido. You don't get that with you just don't. How?
Well,
did they get this published and they just back it up and like, okay, here it goes. You're just not enlightened.
Well, that's why the whole what's his name, James Lindsay and Peter Boghossian and Helen Pluckrose, they did all those fake papers that tried to get them submitted by one of them was the heteropatriarchy and rape in the dog park, talking about how dogs raped each other and how this was indicative of some the patriarchy and yeah. Insane. But they publish these things you got to go all the way back, I guess, in the more recent times. I'm sure it goes further back in other disciplines, but you got to find the Fabian Society, and you got to find environmentalism, Margaret Sanger, and eugenics, and all that kind of stuff. It's all that's what these people are all about. This kind of stuff. That's where these ideas became popularized or were proliferated. And there was a time in the 1920s and 1930s where this stuff was becoming mainstreamed. And it kind of parallels the development of Planned Parenthood and stuff like that. It's all kind of coming from these same concepts. So this stuff's been around for a while.
Participants must be conscious, fully informed, and positive in their desires. Bestiality involves sexual coercion because animals are incapable of genuinely saying yes or no to humans in a form that we can readily understand. If we cannot know that animals consent to our sexual overtures, then we are as much at fault when we tolerate interspecies sexual relations as when we fail to condemn adults who have sexual relations with.
Yeah, see, this is actually, Trami brings up a good point. He says it's like that anti-natalist video about the seals raping each other. Yes, some guy made a short film about the violence of nature, and seals apparently are very aggressive when they mate, like male seals are.
Oh yeah, they also kill. Yeah, they kill their young.
They kill their young.
Like lions will kill cubs that order to mate with the mom.
So that's why they were kind of using that to illustrate the idea that nature itself is innately violent, therefore non-existence is preferable. Because if nothing existed, then these things wouldn't happen. But this was it's just they're even saying we tolerate interspecies relations as when we fail to condemn adults who have sexual relations with infants or children or other moral patients. So they're trying to draw a line between the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's well, we shouldn't let these animals rape each other.
Yeah.
So we don't let people rape children who can't consent. How can animals even possibly consent? But doesn't this kind of go back to what she was saying about oh, it's a negative thing to say that animals are too stupid to consent?
Yeah.
I mean, because that would be what they're talking about. If you're talking about animals raping each other, for lack of a better way to put it.
Well, in a lot of species, that's how it gets done. In a lot of species, it's not wanted by both parties. Look into snakes. I looked into snakes recently, man, and they get freaky.
They get freaky. They don't take no for an answer. I can tell you that much.
No.
Infants or with children or with others who, for whatever reason, are unable to refuse participation. I hope this rather intensive analysis of bestiality gave you some food for thought.
It was not very intensive analysis of bestiality, dude.
Just because you said so.
Production time for this video and article, 183 hours.
Damn.
She will never get back.
Damn.
Prophet says chicken culture is based on rape. Imagine life without a frontal lobe.
Ooh,
yeah,
shit.
It's all about primal. It's all about survival at that point. There's no rationalization. There's no consideration of what you're actually doing. It's just about getting it done.
It's just like a lot of these people that have got to grow up in the luxury of the Western society. They have nothing to bitch about, and they make up problems. They can't appreciate where they've gone and how they become into existence, how they're able to function the way they are and have these great ideas is because of years of evolution with, you know, eating animals. So
and because you live in a culture that allows you to do that, like you know, like you said, it's part of the process.
Yeah.
But they just, it's like all part of this like postmodern deconstructionist project. I mean, this is how far they'll take it. They try to strip people of their humanity and compare them to that of an animal.
Yeah, she very loosely tied in together. Bulk of it, I don't know. Hey, I thought it was going to be. I thought it'd be interesting at least. So.
That's why she called. That's why she titled the video that is to get rubes like us who are just looking for some hot bestiality.
We were looking for that hot bull action.
Yeah, we were looking for
bull action.
And also got factory farming bullshit. I was looking for some hot stuff.
Yeah.
Please share it around. I would like to thank my $50 and above patrons and my whole Nugget Army Patreon family for making it possible for me to conduct this research, deliver speeches all over the world.
Oh, great. I'm glad. To rooms of tens of people, I'm sure. So this bitesizevegan.org, they have 185K subscribers.
Nice.
Pretty good. This video has, 661,000 views.
It's a well-produced video. She delivers that, but again, she wasn't speaking to us. That was not intense. That did not sway me to unblur these lines. I'm a little disappointed.
Hold on, you got to see this. Emily is rapidly moving from animal liberationist category to major modern philosopher category.
Oh
yeah, dude. Modern philosopher. Yeah, she's kind of top of the pile.
Relying on your eyes because I can't see it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. No worries.
They could make it a little bit bigger.
No. Just read to me, Sean.
This was the best 183-hour effort distilled into 21 minutes of trying to explain to the humans just how insane some of them are that I've seen.
You should go and reply big. Correction, bitch. Non-animal humans.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you did not pay attention to that hard 183 hours worth of work she put into that. She clarified that at the beginning. Oh, God. Go, Sean, go. Go, Sean, go.
There we go. That's just stir some shit for me for a couple days.
Oh, I love it.
Tarami says, "Fucking hell! Second time in 2 streams they've kept that bull action from us."
Oh, Tarami, so much bull action.
The bull action was incredible. It was incredible. All right.